Talk Academy. I know many of you guys have been learning English for quite a while now, and you probably want to become more fluent in conversation. One of the best way to achieve better fluency in English is by using advanced words. And in today's lesson, I'm gonna teach you some advanced word that you can use instead of the word very. And we will also try to make sentences using these words, and we will learn how to read out loud by following your blending rule or word connection in pronunciation. So if you're ready, let's go with our first example. The first one is very bad. Very bad. We can simply say awful to make it more advanced. Awful. Very bad to awful. Let's take a look at this example. I heard an awful news in the morning. I heard an awful news in the morning. Instead of using very bad, I use the word awful. Awful. And as I promise you, we will try to read out loud so we can practice the pronunciation by connecting the words or the sound. That is your blending rule in pronunciation. So this word heard can be blended with the word and. How do we do it? We say heard then, heard then. And the word and with the word awful, awful, an awful. So we say heard an awful, heard an awful. Same goes with your word news. News with the word in. News in. News in. So we say heard an awful news. News in. Let's try one more time. I heard an awful news in the morning. Did you follow it correctly? Okay, the second example is very interesting. Very interesting. How do we use, or what advanced word should we use for very interesting? That is your fascinating. Fascinating. Okay. Let's take a look at this example. There's a fascinating show at the park. There's a fascinating show at the park. If you can see it, I change or I replace very interesting with the word fascinating. There's a fascinating show at the park. And take note of how I pronounce this part. There's a fascinating. So you could hear clearly your blending rule. There's a fascinating. And this part as well. Show at. Show at. There's a fascinating show at the park. Okay. The third example is very short. Very short. You can simply say brief. Brief in English. Okay. It was a brief meeting with the president. It was a brief meeting with the president. From very short to the advanced word brief. Okay. Let's learn the blending rule. Many native speakers actually pronounce it and was as twas. 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 And you can connect was with your and your with your brief. How do we do that? Twas a. Twas a. Twas a brief. Twas a brief meeting with the president. One more time. Twas a brief meeting with the president. Okay. Fourth example is very big. Very big. We can simply say gigantic. Gigantic in your advanced word. Gigantic. Some people use the word enormous or massive, but I chose gigantic. So let's see this example. They're planning to build a gigantic statue. They're planning to build a gigantic statue. You can see here, I use gigantic instead of very big. Okay, let's try to connect the sounds. you can just say there. They are planning. They're planning to build a. They're planning to build a gigantic statue. One more time. They're planning to build a gigantic statue. Did you get it? Okay. And let's go to our last example. Your last example is very crowded. Very crowded in an advanced word is called jam-packed. Jam-packed. Okay, let's take a look at the final example. The streets are jam-packed with tourists. The streets are jam-packed with tourists. So instead of the expression very crowded, you can just simply say jam-packed. And let's take a look at the pronunciation as well. The streets are jam-packed with tourists. The streets are jam-packed with tourists. So I hope you use these advanced words instead of using very plus your adjective. And keep learning different advanced vocabularies and try to create sentences and apply the blending rules that you have learned today. And if you want to know more about this topic, make sure to enroll in Talk Academy. Thank you so much and watch our other videos. Thank you.